Welcome to Flying Wheels. Today I am going to tear my car dealership apart. I'm going to be very picky. I've been gone for 4 months, and today is time for some due diligence. I've been very neglectful. It is my own fault. Today you're going to come with me, and I'm going to tear this place apart and show you everything that's been going wrong with Flying Wheels since I've disappeared. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. Let's get going. Okay, so welcome to Flying Wheels, www.flying-wheels.com. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. We own a car dealership in New Hampshire. I've owned it since 2010. It has been very profitable. It has done very well for me. I love the job to an extent until I recently decided to move to Florida, where I picked up and left everything behind. I taught my manager, Lauren, how to run the business. She's been doing a great job. We left our mechanic, Dave. We left our detailer, Devin, and I hoped that they could run it all on their own successfully. There were ups, there were downs, there were ebbs, there were flows. Things are going okay. Things are profitable once again. I did a surprise visit back to New Hampshire this weekend, and today I just did a walk around of the entire lot and picked apart every single car here with Lauren and Dave. Thought it would be a good opportunity to show you everything I would have done differently here so you could learn. What would I do differently than they've been doing? They're doing a great job. I'm not going to pick them apart. I'm picking apart the vehicles. You get to see how I would fix every single car. So instead of one video showing you what I would do on one car, you get to see one video what I would do to 20 different cars in one video and how I would do it. I have a Nissan Xterra, Hyundai Elantra, Mercedes, Chevy, Jeep, Hyundai, Toyota, Ford, Dodge, Humvee, GMC, Chevy, Toyota, Mazda, Honda, Nissan, Chevy. That white one right there, all of these cars, and a good amount of those cars are already listed for sale. Which is great. Buy them, get them ready, get them up, get them listed, get them sold. The faster you move metal, the more money you make. That's the idea in this business. People buy with their eyes. So as soon as a customer shows up and sees this on a wiper, or this on a bumper, or this down here, or this car is for sale but has this right here, and wheels that look like this, it's going to raise some red flags. And when I say people buy with their eyes, a first impression is important. If that first impression is bad, they're uninterested. It doesn't matter how great the car runs. If instantly they're disengaged from the vehicle, they're not going to want the vehicle. So let me show you all the things on every one of these cars that I've already picked apart I would change, so when you look at cars, you know what you're looking at too. Right here we have a 2008 Nissan Xterra with 158,000 miles. Now, let's be realistic. It has 150,000 miles and it is, 16 years old. It's not gonna be perfect. Nothing's gonna be perfect. I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, neither is this car. However, what we wanna do is make everything look as perfect as can be. So first thing I noticed looking at this car are these wheels. Those are the original wheels, and you can see they're getting kind of rusty around them. Now, rusty wheels implies rusty vehicle. The first thing people are gonna think of is, this is a rusty car. I would grind down all the wheels. I wouldn't dismount the tires. If you want, you can pop the bead off if you have a tire machine. If you don't, just tape it or put some playing cards around the lip of the rim, sand it down, paint them silver again with the center caps and lug nuts off. They'll look great again. And if you get paint on the tire, you can actually use a wire brush to get the paint off. The wheels will look brand new again. It'll make a big difference. Now this right here is paint protection film, PPF. PPF is supposed to protect your car, but this is what happens to it. It's like moldy and mildew underneath everything. I would just go ahead and remove this and then polish it. Not having it there and not having it right here will not make the white car look dirty. It'll make a big difference. Otherwise, the car looks great. Aside from maybe the headlights are a little cloudy. I would probably do a headlight correction to these headlights. The plastic bumpers are a little dull and faded. You could bring them back to life with a plastic restorer. You could use a torch on it, which actually kind of weakens the plastic. It's an old vehicle anyway, but you can use a torch on it and kind of heat it up and clean it up too. I also think that would make a big difference. If you're using like a back to black type of restoration product, be careful. They're silicone based. When it rains, they run and it looks awful. So be careful what product it is that you are using. I would do all wheels. I would remove that on this side as well. Otherwise, the interior is clean, and I think the truck would be great. That's the only critique I have about this vehicle. This is a fun and easy one. Now this Hyundai Elantra, looking at the wheel covers, they're in great shape, but the wheels themselves look rusty. I would remove those wheel covers, paint the wheels black, and then put those wheel covers back on the car. Going over here I would just polish up the corner of this bumper, and that should come out most of those scratches. I would touch up the black down there. Now this dent, this car isn't listed for sale yet, we just bought it, but this dent, you can pour boiling water over the bumper and a lot of times it'll pop out. But if I take a heat gun, not a torch, a heat gun on medium heat and heat up the edges and this crease right here, you can actually reach from behind and pop that dent right out. It'll pop right out. It'll stay in most of its shape. Don't use any screwdrivers, don't use any leverage. You'll poke holes in the softened plastic. But if you just heat it up around the edges in the middle, reach your hand in, that dent will pop right out. It'll be perfect back to new. Not even gonna get into these disasters. The Tahoe looks great, and so does the truck and the Yukon. Now, showing up right here, you can see that there's a little scuff right here. I would maybe just take some black paint, touch that up right there, just so it's not a first impression of like, oh, that bumper's been in an accident. I already went through the Silverado. I have no corrections that I do on it. If I did want to, maybe take a grinder to the edge of the wheel and touch up the edge of the wheel, but I don't think that's a deal breaker. What is a deal breaker? A deal breaker is something like, what would make people not buy the car? Is it a deal breaker? If it's a deal breaker, I'd fix it. If it's not a deal breaker and people can look past it, I don't think it's necessary to repair. Went through this Yukon already. They touched up the front bumper. They did an excellent job on the Yukon. They did an excellent job on the Trailblazer and the Patriot. Now, if you notice, it's fall, it rains a lot, these cars keep getting dirty. It'd be nice if we had a power washer with an extended hose and you could, like if we had a lot boy, they'd go around and wash the cars once a week. That'd be great. I don't think these cars have been washed in quite some time. And you can kind of see, especially on black, if all of these cars were nice, clean, sparkly, people drove by, they'd pop. And it would just make a big difference. Notice right here, this little spot, this chip right here, something like a Dr. Color chip paint repair kit would do really, really well for that. I don't think that's a deal breaker, but it is kind of an eyesore. I would fix that. Looking at the shop, presentation is everything. You can see I forget what those plants are called. They're long and they're old and overgrown. I would just trim those down because first impressions at the shop, you want it to have a clean appearance. You want everything to be presentable. I change my flags out once a year, usually in the spring, because they just get faded by fall and they get torn up in the winter. Now, this Hyundai Santa Fe is what it is. It's an 09, 150,000 miles. You can see this dent. This is non-repairable, but I would at least touch that up with some black paint. I'd probably sand down that rust down to the bare metal, touch it up just so it's clean again. The headlights, though, are the problem here. So you can see how cloudy these headlights are, but you can also see the swirl marks. These swirl marks, my detailer has already tried to do a headlight restoration, but he used too heavy of a grit of sandpaper. And that, which is okay, but if he uses too heavy of a grit of sandpaper, he should use a finer grit sandpaper, then a rubbing compound, then a polish to polish it all out. Now, if you notice right here, he didn't tape the headlights. All of those are sanding marks into the bumper. So he actually damaged the bumper by trying to correct the headlights, which he did a poor job of doing. I would normally use an 800, then 1,000, then a 1,500, then a rubbing compound and a polish. And I can feel it, and I can see the line right here, so I know he didn't sand it well enough already. You can see the line all right here. And I can actually feel that it's not smooth. So if he had sanded it correctly, it'd be a lot smoother than it is. Going over to the RAV4, they did a great job on the RAV4. Lauren bought new wheel covers for the steel wheels, which look amazing on this entire car. So it has steel wheels, and then Toyota makes an identical wheel cover that goes over it so they look brand new, which is excellent. My detailer tried to do the headlight correction, did the same problem on this one as well. Too heavy of a grit of sandpaper. He didn't use a fine sandpaper rubbing compounder after, and he definitely didn't tape the headlights because you can see the damage to the bumpers. So he actually did a disservice to this vehicle by trying to fix those headlights. This Ford Edge, excellent shape. I'm noticing something different than those headlights. This looks like he put a film on it, like some type of coating, and it hardened. These are not clear, they don't look good, but they don't look like they were sanded. So that might have been done previously to purchase or prior to purchase. The other thing I'm noticing, this car, you'll notice $59.95 on the window, $7,500 on the window. This car has no window sticker. I would put a tag in the mirror and make it consistent all the way across the board. So you'll see we have the window sticker right here. We have the window tag right there. In every car, except the Tahoe. The Tahoe doesn't over here. The Tahoe does not. And the reason I have these is because this is essentially our salesman when we're not here. When customers come on the lot, when we're not here, when we're closed, they can come and look at all of the information, all the description, if there's warranties, what options it has, what the price is, what the mileage is, and have a phone number to call us if they're interested. Tahoe doesn't have that, so nobody knows what year it is, what the mileage is, what the price is, how to contact us. And then for consistency purposes, the Ford Edge doesn't have the tag on the mirror. I would just put the tag on the mirror. Over here is kind of our sideline. That car is not ready yet. We just recently purchased those, but quite honestly, you'll notice 2 cars are already for sale over here, and 1 car is for sale over there. Again, for consistency purposes, I don't think people are gonna drive by and see that Xterra, and they definitely won't see that Nissan Sentra and the Nissan Rogue, and these 3 are not ready for sale yet. So you can see the traffic we get that drives by the shop. No one driving by is going to see either of those 2 cars or that Xterra. I would move, so this is what we call our front line, it's out front. I would consider probably from that Rogue to the edge of the street also a front line. So when people are driving by, they can see from the Rogue and over, have window tags, have prices, have contact information, have vehicle information. They know that those are for sale because they can see them like right where that Hummer is. Those are showcase pieces. They should be over here, and the ones that are not repaired yet should be tucked away over in the corner. None of these have been repaired yet because we just recently purchased them. The windshield on this Yukon needs to be replaced. It has a crack in the windshield. Right here, the front bumper has some damage, which I would not replace. I can actually fix this. I would trim this off right here with a razor blade, or just pull it off. I would sand all of this down and then just touch it up with new silver. This can pop if you heat it up, just like I told you on the Elantra. Heat it up, pull it out, it'll pop in place here. This right here, I would heat up, use some plastic weld, and weld in some plastic in there, like use a heat gun, soldering gun, and melt plastic in there, smooth it out, use some fiberglass or body filler, clean it up, paint it, and then all of this should fit right back into place. You can do it on your own, no money. This will pop in behind this, and this will pop in up here. So we're talking like a free repair will make a big difference, probably an hour to 2 hours worth of your time. Going to the Chevy Malibu is detailed and incredibly clean. However, as I showed you at the beginning of the video, there are some scuffs at the lower part of this bumper. You can get a custom spray paint can to the color of your car. So either in the glove box, in the trunk, or in the door right down here, you can actually open up, get your paint code, and get this paint matched to your car. I would just sand that down, touch it up on the lower part of the bumper, and then you're good as gold. The Yaris needs a ton of work. This is gonna be an entire video. We'll make a video about it, but you can see how just, like, this is more than just dirt. It's caked on the headlights need to be fixed. There's dirt, like it sat under a tree for way too long. It's everywhere. This car needs a lot of work. We'll make a full video on it. I'll do it with Devin side by side so he knows what he's getting into. Devin's my detailer. The Rogue is already listed for sale. Now the Rogue was my mother-in-law's, has a lot of mileage. It was dirty. When I showed up today, that antenna was just flipped over, broken in half. A piece of black tape kept it in place. It took 10 seconds. 3 different people didn't notice that that was broken and dangling. And it's the first thing I noticed when I walked on the lot. If I was a buyer looking at this car, I would notice that the antenna is broken, which would question if the radio works. The radio does work. Piece of tape fixed that, everything's fine. Front bumper, this is an easy repair. This car has 177,000 miles, it's 15 years old. I don't need to be too picky about it. I would sand this bumper down, remove that, tape off the grille, tape off the headlights, and just dust spray paint over the front of the bumper. I wouldn't paint the entire bumper, doesn't need it. I would just dust silver that matches on this car, and it would make a world of difference, and it would probably take a half an hour of my time. Now going to the Impala, this is a big deal for me. We had an appointment for $400 to have a muffler fixed on this car. $400 to fix a muffler because the tailpipe is broken. Now I'm gonna climb under and show you what's wrong. You can see the tailpipe broke off right here. There are 2 exhaust hangers, one there, one there. The muffler isn't broken. The muffler is fine, but the tailpipe is what's rotted off. You can't just weld a tailpipe to that muffler because it's too far gone. There's nothing to weld to. But the exhaust shop wants to replace that entire muffler. If you look right here, I can actually cut that muffler right there, get a new muffler with a new tailpipe matched exactly to this car. So you're talking a Sawzall, cut the muffler off, take it off the 2 hangers, put the new direct fit muffler on it with a tailpipe, and then you're good to go. Now the exhaust shop wanted $400. Watch this. Lauren called their local parts store for a direct fit muffler. How much was the muffler for that Impala?
At AutoZone?
Yeah.
I think they said like, what was it, 200 or something? No.
I think it was like 100. 100 bucks.
Yeah.
It's like 100 and change.
100 and change, yeah.
And then you went on eBay and Amazon and found it for how much?
Yeah, so eBay it was like 59, then Amazon is 47. It'll be here Monday.
Okay, thank you. Today's Friday. It'll be here Monday. That car's not getting worked on today anyway. So yeah, AutoZone could have it here for 100. Amazon will have it here for 50 before we even need to get to it. So it'll most likely take an hour's worth of work. We'll put it up on the lift, or my mechanic Dave will put it up on the lift, cut the muffler off, but leave enough space to slide the new muffler with tailpipe on, put it up on its exhaust hinges, exhaust clamp it on, good to go. Repairs $50 instead of $400. Why is that important? Number one, it saved us $350 plus paying the mechanic. So say it saved us $300. $300 is a lot of money. A lot of people work all day to make $300, and we can save it and get the same exact repair done. So it's a lot of things are no-brainers. And if you think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars need something for $400 and we save $300, that's 10 cars times $300. That's $3,000. We'd have to sell 1 to 2 cars to make that $3,000, or we can just save that amount in repairs by doing things ourselves versus outsourcing it to somewhere else that would have charged us $400. There's a lot of things you have to think about when running a business. Cutting costs is for sure one of them. What is your bottom line? What's worth outsourcing? What is not worth outsourcing? I send things out that Dave can't take care of. So if it's gonna be here for too long, if it's things he's not sure about fixing, we send out. It's worth it for me. It's worth whatever the cost is. I'm having my Ferrari in Florida service, new timing belt, new water pump, new hoses. It's gonna be like $4,500. I don't wanna do that. I don't wanna do it here. I'm gonna have somebody that knows what they're doing do it right. But a muffler on an Impala, we do brakes, we do fluids, we do oil changes, we do exhaust work. We don't like to do welding. That didn't need welding. There's a lot of things we can do in-house that will streamline, make everything more efficient, make everything more cost effective, which will save us money on our bottom line, which then in turn makes us more profitable. If everybody wants more money, which they do, I want to raise, I want to raise, I want to raise. How are we going to get that raise? We need to make more money. Well, if we're not selling more cars, how do we make more money? We streamline the business to make things more profitable. Okay, you want to raise? We need to start doing things more efficiently so we can afford that raise, so we can make more money, so we can afford those other expenses. Feels good to be back here. I miss flying wheels for sure to a point. I love Florida. When we're in Florida, I'm going to do something a little different. I don't really want a car dealership. I like doing what I do one-on-one. So like that Yaris, I would love bringing that back to life on video, one car at a time myself, like I used to when I started this dealership. So that's probably what I'm gonna start doing in Florida. I'm gonna get my dealer's license, go to dealer auctions, buy what I love, make my Ferrari videos, make my Corvette videos, make my Cybertruck videos, and then do one flip at a time. Kind of like what I would wanna do if I was retired, the stuff that really makes me happy. I don't want 2 car dealerships. If this video was helpful, informative, educational, I mean, like I put it all out there. I show you and said things to you the same way I said it to Lauren, Dave, Devin. I make these videos for them. I make these videos for you. I hope they're helpful. If they are, thumbs ups are appreciated. Subscribe if you love this content. Tell me what you do like, what you don't like. Thanks for watching. See you all later. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. See you later and adios.